Imagine waking up one morning and not recognizing the face of your spouse. Imagine forgetting the names of your children. Imagine looking around your own home and feeling completely lost. This is the reality for millions of people living with dementia. And here is the part that most people don't know. Up to 45% of all dementia cases may actually be preventable. That means nearly half of all dementia cases could potentially be avoided. And the decisions you make today, right now in your daily life, play a massive role in whether you become part of that statistic. So today we are going to talk about what dementia actually is, what causes it, and most importantly, what you can do starting today to lower your risk. This is not a video about fear. This is a video about power, the power you have over your own brain health. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is dementia? Dementia is not a single disease. It is an umbrella term used to describe a group of symptoms that affect memory, thinking, communication, and the ability to perform everyday tasks. The most common type is Alzheimer's disease, which accounts for roughly 60 to 80% of all dementia cases. But there are other types too, like vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and frontotemporal dementia. All of these conditions involve the gradual breakdown of brain cells over time, and once significant damage has occurred, it cannot be reversed. That's what makes prevention so critical. Now here's where the science gets really interesting. In 2020, a group of leading researchers published a landmark report in the prestigious medical journal, The Lancet. They identified 12 key risk factors that together account for around 40 to 45% of all dementia cases worldwide. That means these are factors within our control, things we can actually change. Let's go through them one by one. Risk factor number 1, low levels of education in early life. People who have fewer years of formal education tend to have lower cognitive reserve. Cognitive reserve is basically the brain's ability to resist damage and keep functioning even when problems begin to develop. The more you learn and challenge your brain early in life, the more resilient your brain becomes. But here's the good news. Education doesn't stop when school does. Learning new skills, reading regularly, engaging in mentally stimulating activities throughout your life can all build that cognitive reserve. It is never too late to challenge your brain. Risk factor number 2, hearing loss. This one surprises a lot of people. Untreated hearing loss in midlife is one of the single biggest modifiable risk factors for dementia. When you cannot hear properly, your brain works harder to process sounds. Social isolation increases, mental stimulation decreases, all of these things speed up cognitive decline. The solution is simple but often ignored. Get your hearing checked regularly, and if you need hearing aids, use them. Don't let vanity or denial rob you of your brain health. Risk factor number 3, traumatic brain injury. Repeated head injuries, even seemingly minor ones, can significantly increase your risk of developing dementia later in life. This is especially relevant for athletes in contact sports and for people who have been in accidents. The brain is fragile, protect it, wear helmets during cycling, skiing, or any high-impact activity. Take falls prevention seriously as you get older. Risk factor number 4, high blood pressure. Hypertension, especially in midlife, is a major risk factor for dementia. High blood pressure damages blood vessels throughout the body, including in the brain. Over time, this reduces blood flow to the brain and causes damage that can lead to cognitive decline. The good news is that blood pressure can be managed through lifestyle changes and medication. Exercise, a healthy diet, reducing salt, limiting alcohol, and managing stress can all help bring blood pressure down. Know your numbers. Get checked. Risk factor number 5, excessive alcohol consumption. Heavy drinking is toxic to the brain. It damages brain cells, reduces brain volume, and increases the risk of stroke. The evidence is clear. Drinking more than about 14 units of alcohol per week significantly raises dementia risk. That's roughly 6 pints of beer or 10 small glasses of wine per week. If you drink, drink less. If you can cut it out entirely, even better. Risk factor number 6, obesity. Being significantly overweight in midlife is linked to an increased risk of dementia. Obesity contributes to inflammation, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and other metabolic problems that all affect brain health. Maintaining a healthy weight through balanced eating and regular movement is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain and your body. Risk factor number 7, smoking. Smoking damages blood vessels, reduces blood flow to the brain, and increases inflammation. Smokers are significantly more likely to develop dementia than non-smokers. And here is the hopeful part. When you quit smoking, your risk begins to decrease. It is not too late to stop. Every day without a cigarette is a day your brain and body get the chance to heal. Risk factor number 8. Depression. There is a strong and complex relationship between depression and dementia. Depression in midlife and later life is associated with increased dementia risk. It's not entirely clear whether depression causes brain changes that increase risk, or whether early-stage dementia triggers depression, or both. But what is clear is that untreated depression is bad for your brain. Seek support, talk to a doctor. Therapy, medication, social connection, and lifestyle changes can all help manage depression. Don't suffer in silence. Your mental health is your brain health. Risk factor number 9, physical inactivity. The evidence here is overwhelming. Regular physical exercise is one of the single most protective things you can do for your brain. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, stimulates the growth of new brain cells and connections, reduces inflammation, improves mood, and helps manage weight, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Studies consistently show that people who exercise regularly have significantly lower rates of dementia compared to those who are sedentary. You don't need to run marathons. A brisk walk for 30 minutes most days of the week is enough to make a meaningful difference. Start wherever you are. Move more. Your brain will thank you. Risk factor number 10, social isolation. Loneliness is not just an emotional problem, it is a serious health issue. People who are socially isolated, who have few meaningful relationships or social activities, are at significantly higher risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Social interaction stimulates the brain, reduces stress, and provides emotional support. Connection is medicine. Prioritize your relationships. Join groups, clubs, or community organizations. Make time for the people who matter to you. Even small moments of genuine human connection can have a big impact on brain health. Risk factor number 11. Air pollution. This is one of the newer additions to the list, and it is a sobering one. Exposure to air pollution, particularly fine particulate matter and nitrogen dioxide, is now recognized as a risk factor for dementia. These tiny particles can enter the bloodstream and reach the brain, causing inflammation and damage over time. While you can't control the air quality in your entire city, you can take steps to reduce your personal exposure. Avoid exercising near busy roads. Use air purifiers indoors. Support environmental policies that reduce pollution. Risk factor number 12, diabetes. People with type 2 diabetes have a significantly higher risk of developing dementia. High blood sugar damages blood vessels and nerves throughout the body, including in the brain. Managing blood sugar levels through diet, exercise, and medication when necessary is essential for both physical and brain health. If you haven't had your blood sugar levels checked recently, talk to your doctor. So now you know the 12 key risk factors. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. What does this tell us? It tells us that dementia is not simply a matter of bad luck or bad genes. Yes, genetics play a role. Yes, some people will develop dementia regardless of how healthy they live. But for a very significant proportion of people, the lifestyle choices they make throughout their lives will determine whether or not they develop this condition. And that is both sobering and deeply empowering, because it means you have more control than you might have thought. Let's talk about some of the most powerful things you can start doing right now. First, prioritize sleep. Sleep is when your brain clears out toxic waste products, including a protein called amyloid beta that is strongly linked to Alzheimer's disease. Poor sleep leads to a buildup of these harmful proteins. Chronic sleep deprivation is increasingly recognized as a major risk factor for cognitive decline. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Create a consistent sleep routine. Make your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Limit screens before bed. Good sleep is not a luxury. It is brain maintenance. Second, eat for your brain. What you eat has a profound effect on brain health. The Mediterranean diet and the Mind diet have both been shown in research to reduce dementia risk. These diets are rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, fish, and olive oil. They are low in red meat, processed foods, sugar, and saturated fats. Berries in particular, especially blueberries and strawberries, have been shown to slow cognitive aging. Leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale are linked to slower cognitive decline. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which support brain structure and function. Eating well doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Small changes add up. More vegetables, less processed food, more fish, less red meat. Your brain runs on what you feed it. Third, keep learning. Mental stimulation throughout life builds cognitive reserve. Learn a new language. Pick up a musical instrument. Take a class in something you know nothing about. Read books in different genres. Do puzzles and brain games. Engage in creative activities. The key is to challenge yourself, to try things that are genuinely difficult, that push your brain to form new connections. Don't just do the same crossword puzzle every day. Stretch yourself. Fourth, manage your stress. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, a hormone that in high doses can damage the hippocampus, the part of the brain most critical for memory formation. Long-term stress is incredibly harmful to the brain. Meditation, mindfulness, yoga, deep breathing, time in nature, regular exercise, strong social connections, all of these things can help manage stress. Find what works for you. Make stress management a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Fifth, stay socially connected. We mentioned this as a risk factor, but it is worth emphasizing as an action step. Actively invest in your relationships and your community. Don't wait until you feel lonely to reach out. Be proactive. Plan regular social activities. Volunteer. Join groups with shared interests. These connections are not just good for your mood, they are protecting your brain. Now let's address something important that many people wonder about. What about family history? What if dementia runs in my family? Having a parent or sibling with dementia does increase your risk. There are certain genetic variants, most notably a gene called APOE4, that are linked to higher dementia risk. But here is what the research makes very clear. Genetics are not destiny. People with a family history of dementia who adopt healthy lifestyles have significantly lower rates of developing the condition than those who don't. Your genes load the gun. Your lifestyle pulls the trigger, or doesn't. The choices you make can powerfully counteract genetic risk. This is why experts now say that the single most important thing we can do to address the global dementia crisis is not to wait for a cure. It is to take prevention seriously, right now. Starting today, let's also talk about what to look out for. Early detection matters. The earlier changes in brain health are caught, the more options there are for slowing progression and maintaining quality of life. Warning signs to watch for include increasing forgetfulness that disrupts daily life, difficulty finding words or following conversations, getting lost in familiar places, struggling with planning or problem solving, changes in mood, personality, or behavior, and losing interest in activities you used to enjoy. If you or someone you love is experiencing these symptoms, don't dismiss them as normal aging. Talk to a doctor, get evaluated. There are assessments, brain scans, and tests that can help identify what is happening. And while there is currently no cure for most types of dementia, there are treatments and strategies that can help manage symptoms and slow progression. Early action is always better than waiting. Now let's take a moment to acknowledge something. Dementia is not just a health issue, it is a deeply human issue. It takes away pieces of people gradually and cruelly. It transforms families. It puts enormous strain on caregivers. It is one of the most emotionally devastating conditions a person or a family can face. And that's exactly why preventing it, where possible, matters so much. Every case of dementia that is prevented is a family that doesn't go through that heartbreak. It is a person who gets to remain fully themselves for all the years of their life. The research gives us reason for hope, not just because we know that so many cases are potentially preventable, but because we know that the brain is far more adaptable and resilient than we ever imagined. Neuroscience has shown us that the brain retains the ability to form new connections and even new cells well into old age, a concept called neuroplasticity. The brain can grow and change throughout life, and the right habits and lifestyle choices support and accelerate that process. So, what does a brain-protective life actually look like in practice? It looks like moving your body every day, even just a walk. It looks like sleeping properly every night. It looks like eating real food, mostly plants, lots of color, good fats, less sugar. It looks like staying curious and continuing to learn. It looks like maintaining close friendships and meaningful relationships. It looks like managing your stress rather than letting it manage you. It looks like not smoking and drinking little or no alcohol. It looks like knowing your blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol numbers and managing them. It looks like protecting your hearing and your head. It looks like getting help if you are struggling with depression or isolation. These are not exotic interventions. They are not expensive or complicated. They are the fundamentals of a healthy life, and they happen to be the most powerful tools we have against dementia. The message is simple. Start now, not when you turn 60. Not after your next birthday, now. The research is clear that the habits you build in your 30s, 40s, and 50s have the biggest impact on your brain health in your 70s and 80s. Every decade matters. Every year matters. Every day matters. If you're watching this in your 20s or 30s, you are in a powerful position. You have decades ahead of you to build habits that will protect your brain for life. If you're in your 40s or 50s, it is absolutely not too late. The brain can adapt and improve at any age. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, the evidence still shows that adopting healthier habits can slow cognitive decline and reduce risk. It is never too early, and it is never too late. The 45% figure is not just a number. It represents millions of people worldwide. It represents your neighbor, your parent, your future self. It represents hope, because behind that number is the possibility of a world where far fewer people spend their final years not recognizing the people they love, where far fewer families carry the weight of watching someone disappear, piece by piece, while still alive. We cannot prevent every case of dementia, but we can prevent many, and we should try, for ourselves and for the people we love. So here is your challenge. Pick one thing from this video, just one. Maybe it is going for a 30-minute walk every morning. Maybe it is signing up for a class in something new. Maybe it is booking an appointment to get your blood pressure checked. Maybe it is reaching out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Pick one thing, start today, and build from there. Because a brain-healthy life is not built in a single moment. It is built one decision at a time, one day at a time, and those decisions stacked on top of each other over months and years add up to something remarkable. A sharper mind, a richer life, and the best possible chance of staying fully, completely, beautifully yourself for all the years you have. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you or gave you something to think about, please share it with someone you care about, because this information could genuinely change someone's life. And don't forget to take care of your brain today. It is the only one you have.